Okay, so welcome everybody to the Frictionless Data Community Call of August. It's great to have you all here, especially considering that for the Northern Hemisphere, it's a lot of like holiday season. So it's great to see these people. There's so many people. I was really curious to see how many people will show up today. And it's great to see you all here. I will share here in the chat again the agenda doc for the latecomers. So if you want, you can go there, maybe put your name, affiliation. If you want to add also something that you would like to discuss, you can do that at the end of today's section. Hi Dan, welcome. We just started. So today, as you know, we're going to hear from my colleague Sassi Garte, who's here, a presentation about the frictionless GitHub integration, which basically is useful to read and write data packages from and to GitHub repositories. I won't go too much into details also because Sassi will be able to do it much, much better than I. But before we deep dive in the presentation, as usual, I propose that we start with a round of introductions. So hi, Augusto, welcome. We're just starting. Maybe we can just do a round of introduction where everybody can say their name, affiliation, where they're based, and maybe they can share something about the weather where they are. I can start. I'm Sara Petti. I'm the community manager of Frictionless Data. I'm based in Bologna, Italy. I work at Open Knowledge Foundation, and the weather today here in Bologna is actually quite nice. So for those of you who were already here in the last couple of community calls, they know that Italy was hit by a big heat wave, which has luckily gone away now. So we're steady around like 28, 30 degrees, which is Celsius, which is really, really nice. And that's me. And I'll pass it on to Jasper. Would you like to go next?
Yeah, I'm Jasper Tetitz from the north of Germany. I work at the State Chancellery of the Federal State of Schleswig-Holstein, and the State Chancellery we had an election, and now the former Ministry of Digitalization moved to the State Chancellery, and I'm responsible for the open data of the federal state. And the weather here, it's for North Germany, it's really hot, 30 degrees Celsius, which was really hot. Usually we have below 20 degrees Celsius in summer, but this summer it's really hot outside.
Would you like to pick someone else to go after you, Jasper?
Yeah, the next on my list is Kim Zia Sim. I hope I pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, my name is Kim Xia, and I'm based in Singapore, but right now I'm actually physically in Bangkok, Thailand, and this is my second time joining this monthly community call. And I'm a software developer. I work for myself, and I've always been interested in all this frictionless data stuff. So happy to meet everybody. Sorry, my camera is not quite up to speed, so I'm gonna nominate Jen Thomas. Did I get their name right?
Yep. Hi everyone, I'm Jen. In my previous role as a data manager, I used Frictionless to package data and describe data sets I was helping scientists to publish. And I've just been using Frictionless this morning for my own data for my master's project in entomology. So nice to see you all. It's been a while since I've joined one of the calls. And I'll pick Nick.
Hi everybody, Nick Kellett. I'm with Deploy Solutions in Eastern Canada. We use frictionless data, started relatively recently, but we use it extensively for the software solutions we build, including some climate change related prototypes. I am actually writing a draft, even as we speak, on what's involved with that, because we want to validate lots of different types of data for climate change impacts and disasters. Like, you know, for a flood, you might want to know about sandbag locations or emergency shelters, distribution points, and things like that. So frictionless is very key. And the weather right now is quite hot, although that's fairly normal, I guess, right now for August, and rainy. And I would like to pick Evgeny.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Evgeny. I'm a tech lead of Frictionless Data, and it's quite hot here, surprisingly, in Moscow. Although, like, it's okay in Europe, but we having like really hot August here, kind of scorching. So I'll pass to Sasi.
Hi everyone, I'm Sassi and I'm currently working as a developer in Open Knowledge Foundation. And I'm from Nepal and it's also really hot here right now. I don't know the temperature actually, but it's really hot. So I would select Edgar.
Hello, I'm Edgar. I work as a developer in Open Knowledge, and I help in Frictionless Data project. And I'm based in Rapallo, in Italy. It's Liguria, north of Italy, and right now it's pretty sunny, pretty hot, almost 30 degrees. And yeah, I plan to enjoy this sea later. And I pass to Andres.
Thank you, Edgar. I am Andres Vasquez from Argentina in South America.
Andres, you're very low. We can't hear you very, very well.
Is better now?
Yes.
I am saying I am Andres Vasquez from Argentina at South America. I am software developer at the OKF also. And we are officially in winter, but it looks like the spring is here and there is no more cold. We have a very cold winter here. And that's why I am very happy with the weather, with this nice spring. And that's me. I pass to Augusto Herman.
Hello, I'm Augusto Herman. I am based in Brazil. Here it alternates between a little hot and a little cold. I have just took off some sweater here, and I used to run the National Open Data Initiative in Brazil from 2010 until 2018, and nowadays I just publish a few data sets from the sector of the ministry I work in, and use frictionless data packages, data schemas there. A little bit like Jesper. Hallo Jesper, herzlich willkommen an unsere Gemeinschaft. And I pass to, I think this meeting is taking place at the same time as a meeting from Open Knowledge Brazil. So I'm not sure if because he's there as well. Daniel Fireman, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you listen?
Yes.
You're a little quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm Daniel Fireman. I'm professor now in a Federal Institute of Education in Brazil, northeastern, a warm region, and I've been working and developing. Actually, I was a grantee. I think that's the word for the Go library for Go set of libraries for frictionless data in 2018. I think 19 maybe. I don't remember exactly. Pandemic days, hard to track. And since then, I've been using and helping out developing frictionless tooling, mainly for Go. And I'm a technical leader of the Status Jus BR, which is a project for open paychecks for the judiciary system here in Brazil. We pretty much scrape, process, and open everything as data packages, consolidate as well because it's a mess. And yeah, that's pretty much about me. I pass to Aditya. Not sure.
Yeah, I think Aditya is joining through a bot, so she can hear, but she cannot really speak.
Okay. So I don't know, everyone. I see Jen, someone?
Not Jen, but we can have Carles in the same screen.
Okay.
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, I'm Carlos. I'm a software developer and I used to use Frictionless to pass data between institutions. I'm not using it now for my work, but anytime might happen again. And we are in the UK now, with my hometown near Barcelona has been 33 degrees today. So it was quite hot there, 24 here. And next person, I said Nick Kellett has Jen chose Jasper, maybe?
Jasper went already, but Nikesh didn't go yet.
Thanks.
So yeah, so hi everyone. So my name is Nikesh Palami. I'm based in Kathmandu, Nepal. So the weather here is like kind of, as Sashi mentioned, it's hot. So we just completed the rainy season. So from rainy to hot, so it's a normal temperature, but we feel kind of hot. So I work for Open Knowledge Nepal and Open Knowledge Foundation, both coordinating open data project here and there. So nice meeting you all. So maybe I can pass these to Dan. Dan,
hi, I'm Dan. I am a software developer. So I work with the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, like the public health stuff or public healthcare in the United States. But I work through a contractor called Civic Actions, and we're the maintainers of DCAN, which is a Drupal-based open data platform. And we've been slowly, we kind of built it around DCAT, but we've been slowly trying to work more frictionless standards into sort of the default behavior of DCAN, mostly around table schemas, but I'm hoping the future release will kind of default to frictionless schemas, but that's still kind of a subject of debate. But yeah, so I think I'm the last one. Oh, Gergo maybe joined after we started.
Hi, my name is Gergő Székely. I'm from Budapest, Hungary, and I work for a small company called Government Transparency Institute. We do public policy research based on mostly public procurement data sets. And we do not use Frictionless at the moment, but we have a quite complex data engineering pipeline, and we are always looking at tools and evaluating them if we can use them somehow. And the weather here is quite hot again after last week and refreshing rains. Do we still have people who have not introduced
Can I go really quick?
Exactly, go Taras, and then Michael also we're missing.
Okay, wow, lots of folks in open data here. I'm Taras, so I mainly build simple data tools. I do like the frictionless data formats, and I would like to make it more available in different platforms. That's primarily what Random Fractal Sync does. Other than that, I'm based in Chicago, originally from Ukraine. It's kind of rainy today. We're getting into the fall season here. So no heat or anything like that. Is there somebody else left?
Yeah, thanks, Taras, and welcome. And I think Michael still needs to introduce himself, and then.
Great. Yeah, it looks like I'm last then. So, yeah, my name's Michael, and I'm from the UK, and we've just had a heat wave, but I guess I'm relieved that it's actually raining now. So that's good. I'm a principal consultant at Nimbleon, which is a data and analytics consultancy. And we're also the creators of Open Data Blend, which is a set of data services that incorporate frictionless data specs. So yeah, that's it.
Thanks very much, Michael. And okay, I think that now, Sassi, if you want to go ahead with the presentation, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sam. Can you see the screen?
Yes, Sassi. Just an ask. Can you slow down a little bit your volume? I think it's so high. Thank you.
No?
Yes, it's
better.
quite better. Much better.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. So, I've already introduced myself. I'm a programmer in Open Knowledge Foundation, and I recently joined Open Knowledge Foundation 4 months ago, and currently I'm contributing in Frictionless Pi library. And this is my awesome team of Frictionless Pi library. So, and today I'm going to talk about, it's about sharing the new feature that we have been developing recently. We are currently trying to develop the feature which can make the data sharing between the Frictionless library and many different data portals easier. So we're currently working on CCAN, Zenodo, and GitHub. But today this presentation will be about the Github integration. Now I'll be talking about the features that we have added to read and write data to the GitHub. So here, to read the data from the GitHub repo, we can use this. We can use the package class and pass the URL of the repo. Then the GitHub plugin can identify that this is the URL of the GitHub URL, and it will read the data from that repo and create a package and return it back as a package. And we have another alias function for that as well. Both functions do the same work, read the data from a single repo and return it as a package. And this feature can read the data, the data from the repo that has package descriptor, that with and without package descriptor. If there is no package descriptor, then it will create the list of resources and create a package descriptor as shown here on the right side, and with the same name as the GitHub repo, and return back the package. And if it has the package descriptor, then it will just read that package descriptor and return it as a package. So this is how it reads the package from the repo. And the second one is the catalog, creating a catalog of the packages. Like it can the first function would read the package from one repo only, but here in this function allows us to create the list of packages from multiple repositories. So each repository will be taken as one package, and it will create the list and return as a catalog here. I will talk about this control later, but here in the second line we have this catalog class, and once we pass the URL of the user account, then it will pass through all the repositories and create the package from each repository and return the list. And if there are no resources in the repository, or if there are no packages in any of the repository, then it will not include those repositories as a package. And here I'm passing this URL of this user FT tester, and it will go through those repositories and create the list. I'm also passing search here because I wanted to filter the repositories, because there are lots of repositories, and if it would read and there are duplicate repository also. That's why I'm using search here, but we don't need to use search. We can simply pass the URL and it will create the catalog for us. These controls are used to tweak the behavior of the function. And here we see when I pass this URL, it will return the result as follows on the On the right side, you can see it in the JSON format. There, it is written in 3 repositories as a package. And catalog, we can pass the URL of the user's account, or and we can also select which kind of repository we want to read based on the search queries. We can pass the search queries as follows, and we can use any qualifiers that GitHub API supports. And for example, in this search, I'm trying to read those repositories which has test action read text in the README file. So it will read only those repositories and create the catalog for it. And here are different examples of the qualifiers that GitHub API supports. There are more, but I'm just sharing some of them. For example, if you want to read only those repositories which has jQuery in the name of the repos, then we can just pass jQuery in name. Similarly, we can combine multiple qualifiers as well. And we can also sort the reading of the repositories in by the updated dates or any other fields in the ascending or descending order. And here's I have also added the documentation for the GitHub qualifiers, which is provided by the GitHub. So we can use any qualifiers that GitHub API supports in the source queries. And similarly, to create catalog, we can also pass the sort and order as a parent. We can pass it as a qualifier as well, or as a parent, and then read the packages that in the different order, and only those packages that we want. This is the third functionality, which helps us to write the package to the GitHub repository. Here, two GitHub function requires the package object. We pass the package, and then we need this API key, email, and username plus repo where to write. But this email and username is not required if the username is set in the GitHub account, and if the email is not private. Then based on this API key, we can get the email and the username. But if the email is private, or if the username is not set, then we need to pass it explicitly here like this. And we need API key to API token to write to the GitHub repo, and that API token should have write access, repository write access. Then only we can write it to the repository. So this is the two GitHub function helps us to write the package data to the repository. It will write the package file plus also the resources, and the response of this function would be the repository class, so this would be the response from this function. And those are the three functions that we have added, which is read, write, and creating catalog. And this is we can tweak the behavior of those three functions using controls. And they are the parameters that we can pass to the functions and then change the behavior of the function. For example, here the first, if I use the first control, which has user and repo only, then it will read all the files of CSV and XLS format, because by default it reads both CSV and XML files. But if I want to only read the CSV file, then I can just pass it as a formats parent and set CSV. Then it will only read the CSV files and create the package like this. And we can pass that control as a parent to the package the class or catalog class, or the function that writes to the repository. And this parents applies for different all the three functions. For example, this email and name works is required for the write function, and the search works for the search is for the catalog creation function. So these are the different parameters that we can set for for these different functions that we have created, but each parameters may works for different functions, like I explained. I'd like to see the demo of this function. So to read the package from the GitHub, I'm passing the API key because GitHub API has the access limit of 60 access only per hour. So if I use API key, I can access it 5,000 times, I think. So I'm passing the API key, but we do not need to pass the API key. And just passing the URL, I can read the package from the GitHub repository here, and this is the output from the read function here. And I'm currently using the alias function. And once I read the packages, I can also access the resources like this. Is this visible? I mean, is this screen visible? Okay. And then I can also read the rules, read the data from each resources like this. So this is the read functionality using alias function. We can directly pass it to the package constructor as well, package class. And here it is reading the data from the repo which do not have the data package set. For example, so here it doesn't have the data package here. It just has the files, and it will create the data package for us and return it back. Similarly, it can also read the data package from the repos which has a data package descriptor. Sorry, I was saying data package, but it was data package descriptor. This repo doesn't have the data package descriptor, and it creates for us. And this repo has the data package descriptor, and it reads the information from the data from that descriptor and just returns it back like this. And to create the catalog, we use the catalog from class, and I'm again passing this search text so that I can filter the repositories. And there are 4 repositories which have this source text in this user account. So when I run this, it will return 4 repositories. And currently, I'm displaying only 2 repositories, but it will return 4. Here, these are the 4 packages that it's returning. I think it's difficult to see, but there are 4 different packages that it returns, and we can then read the data from the packages like we did before. And similarly, we can use many different search qualifiers, like I said in the presentation. I can use the user qualifier, or I can read the repo which has jQuery in name. Here in this account, there is one repo which has jQuery in its name. So when I run this, it will return. When I run this, it will return that repo only and create the catalog for it. So we can use many different combination of the qualifiers. And here I'm combining multiple qualifiers. That it says that I want to read the repos from FT testers account, which is recently updated in the descending order, and then which has test action read text in the readme. So if I change, so when I run this, it will return the repository based on the one that is recently updated. For example, right now this is recently updated, but if I go to this repo and make the changes, then it should return this as first one. It's not, looks like it's not working. And now it has changed. I don't know what happened, but when I made the changes here, then this is the latest. This is the repo which is recently updated, so it comes first here. And in this way, we can use many different qualifiers to create the catalog. And to write the repo, we use two Github command function. Right now, we already have this repo, so I'll delete that repo and rerun that. So if I run this again, it should write this, write the data package and sources to that new repo. Right now it is able to write, so it has created a new repo. I had just deleted that repo, and now it just created this repo with the package file and the data and the resources here, and it returns this repository object. And similarly, we can use the control to change the behavior of the function. So we use control to pass the parameters. So here I'm passing the username and the repo that I want to read. And when I run this, I will get this result. And similarly, if I want to read only the CSV file, then I can just pass it as a format, and then it will only read the CSV file. But if I hadn't passed this one, by default, it would read both CSV and Excel file. So this way we can use the control to change the behavior of the function. And similarly, I can use search parameter to read different kind of repository based on the need, and then create the catalog. So this is how the controls helps to control the all these three functions. If there is any question, please.
Are you guys going to provide JavaScript API for this?
Sorry?
Do you have Java? I'm sorry. Do you have JavaScript API for this?
Sorry, I didn't understand. Do we have the JavaScript?
Yeah.
No, we don't have. We are not using JavaScript here. So.
But we're going to have a kind of like API run in Python, so it can be accessible from like any language if you run a server.
Yeah, so I'll tell you why I'm asking this. Python is great, but for like especially web-friendly tools, not including PyDI, to build anything around something that's Python only is basically, you know, forcing tool makers to get the whole Python installed and, you know, that whole pipeline. So if you had a set of JavaScript interfaces, I could see it's great. I've been looking for a good data package catalog, but I could see this interface being used in more places than just Jupyter notebooks or Python apps.
Yeah, we have kind of like the same problem because we're developing an application in JavaScript, TypeScript, so we're going to use Frictionless API, and we might present it like in a few months. But yes, still will require a Python to run, but it will be cross-platform, at least cross-language.
I have a question. Is that possible to have multiple data packages in a single repository? Or the question essentially boils down to, is that possible to construct a catalog, a data package catalog from a single repository? Because that is pretty much where I was leaning towards to make my project to go. So that was refreshing to see. And the second question, maybe outside of the scope, and Evgeny might jump in, is that there are plans to make catalog blending the frictionless data packages spec, because then I can pretty much implement it in the Go and JavaScript and so on, because I think it's a powerful abstraction considering to be in the spec. So it's standardized across languages. So 2 questions. First, can we view the catalog from a single repository? Second, are there any plans to have catalogs in the spec, frictionless data spec?
Yeah, I can answer. First one, not yet, but I think it will be a nice follow-up for Sassi, because she was a lead, kind of like only one developer of the whole future, which is, I think, it's really great work. And yeah, it's we can infer a catalog from one repository. So just a matter of adding some additional logic. What do you think, Sassi?
Yes, currently we don't have that. Each repository is one package. So yes, we can add that as well.
Yeah. So
yeah, and the 2 questions are intertwined, because on thinking about how to have multiple data packages within the same repo might be a good thought to actually think how a catalog might fit in the spec. So we can get it not only from GitHub, but maybe from a path, a directory path. So we can view the catalog from a directory path and GitHub and so on and so forth. So, and then I'm very interested to get that into the Go library.
Yeah, just added a future request for creating catalog from one repository, and yeah, in the second one, here, I think, yeah, we kind of getting into the stage when we're going to work on like next iteration of the standards, like more about like adding new things, because we try to be like really backward compatible. And this catalog can definitely be one from a few like new things added to the standards, because it's kind of like a simple concept, and it just describes like any like catalogs we know, like Zinode or Sican. It's just kind of like really natural thing to have a catalog of data sets. So I hope to have it standardized like next year.
Yeah, thanks Evgeny, and thanks Daniel for the questions. I think we have done. Wanted to ask a question, then Jasper.
Yeah, it looks like you need a GitHub, what's it called, a key to connect. Is there a possibility of just, I guess if you're running it from the command line, of just using your SSH key and not having to provide a API key? I don't know. I always get really annoyed when I have to find my API key and paste it into command line or a script or something. Just curious.
For now, we are using API key, but yes, we can add that feature to use SSH key to connect to the GitHub. That would be a good feature.
Thanks.
Yeah, I just want to add that, yeah, for example, I started testing this feature without a key, but GitHub is really like not nice regarding it, and yeah, I ran into limit really fast.
My question is, how much does that relate on GitHub? Does it also work with GitLab? So we are using a self-hosted on-premise GitLab installation, and I know several other organizations in Germany do the same. Will it also, does it heavily depend on the GitHub API, or does it also could work with the GitLab installation?
For now, it works for the GitHub only, but yes, we can make it work to the GitLab as well.
Yeah, I'll create a future request.
Do we have other questions?
I'm sorry, I had a little bit of connection problem. So what I was trying to say is that I see some APIs we have for reading resources, to easily reading resources or packages we're using to manipulate catalogs. So in Data we had one data package per month, and if you want to plot or calculate statistics across months, we pretty much need to artificially create another data set, which is pretty much a concatenation of all data sets and then go ahead and calculate or plot. So with catalog, and if we put a little bit of things on the spec, we could have a first way to process, a seamless process or frictionlessly process a bunch of data packages at once using some sort of catalog API. So just food for thought. Not quite. Maybe I went a little bit off top. I'm sorry for that, but I'm really excited about thinking a little bit about this catalog API. And thank you. Great work.
I think Evgeny is the best person to answer this question.
Can I ask another question really quick, since you don't have JavaScript API? Does it work with Pyodide? Have you guys tried it?
Sorry,
Pyodide? Does it work in the web browser with Pyodide library?
No, it doesn't right now. We have it doesn't work right now, but yes, we can make it work for that, and we can create a feature request for that.
Yeah, exactly, Taras. Maybe I would advise you to add a feature request if it's something that you would like to see. I think, sorry, Daniel, regarding the answer to your question, I think that Evgenia dropped and is now reconnecting.
Yeah, just answer about this, the Pyodide. I did some tests with the version 4 of the framework, and it works. There is some minor adjustment you need to do, configuration, but it can work. And it's pretty fast after they load out their libraries. And I think it's not too much hard work to make this feature, the version 5, to work also.
Yeah, thanks, Edgar. Do we have other questions? I think we have time for maybe one last one. Also in the document, I see that Dan, maybe you wanted to ask something about ADL pipeline.
Oh yeah, totally unrelated to this. So if we're ready to change topics, yes.
So unless someone has another question for Sassi, maybe we can jump into Dan's question. Jasper, I see you have one.
Sashi mentioned a CCAN plugin. Can you tell something about that plugin? What will that plugin do? Will it store the resource description inside CCAN, or is it a harvester for CCAN? Can you tell me something about that?
Okay, so in this CCAN plugin is Edgar is working on that plugin, so I think Edgar is the best person to answer this question.
Yeah, this plugin, the idea is pretty similar with the GitHub. You provide CCAN URL. You can use the search API to query a subset of data sets. And this is going to create a data package on the Python side, or a set of data package with all the results of query from CCAN. But there is going to be a write part of the plugin to publish data package that you are working in Python using the framework, and you want to publish in a CCAN instance. You just need to provide the API key.
Okay, so it's not a plugin for CCAN, but it's a plugin for the frictionless Python library that communicates with any CCAN instance.
Exactly, but there is also 2 extensions for CCAN, and this is our plugin for CCAN that I'm working. One is data package that makes it easy to import a data package to a CCAN instance, and also make it possible to export a data set as a data package. You just press export as data package, is generate a data package, follow the data package specification. And there is also a CCAN extension called validation that you can use the Frictionless framework to validate a data set inside a CCAN instance. We are going to release pretty soon some information about how to use with the latest version of CCAN, how you can integrate the framework, because right now we are working a lot on this, how to integrate Frictionless and CCAN.
Yeah, and also, can you hear me?
Yeah, Evgenia, we can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. And also, there is a validation plugin for CCAN, also currently being updated to run tabular validation on CCAN datasets. And yeah, we're going to share links in the chat for 2 plugins, for 2 extensions, CCAN extensions. And yeah, also wanted to add that currently in this iteration, we targeting GitHub, CKAN, and Zenodo for frictionless framework, and with kind of similar scope and functionality. So the futures success showed for GitHub, we will work on kind of like the same for Zenodo and CKAN this month.
Thanks, Evgeny. And thanks, Jasper, for your question. We might have a couple of minutes to discuss your question if you want, Dan.
I think it may be too big of a question. I don't want to keep people later or rush. I'll just say, yeah, I'm just interested. I think this may be relevant to the call topic for September, so maybe I'll just be patient. But just as a preview, a big thing that we're always trying to solve at CMS is that we have a database, like a data store, like similar to CKAN, and we have very large CSVs that are on kind of other file servers at different domains, and importing those CSVs to the data store as quickly as possible. We're talking like 6 gigs of CSV data sometimes, is kind of the big problem that we're always trying to solve. So it has seemed like there have been a couple kind of some lines of work and the Python and the frictionless framework to create some sort of pipelines of CSV to SQL. And I was just curious. It doesn't look like I think an important thing is using some of the like very fast CSV to like table tools that you have in Postgres or MySQL that can parse a whole CSV file at once instead of row by row. So I was just curious if people have gotten anywhere with that, if there's any existing work in the frictionless framework to sort of create a pipeline that includes like a really fast push of CSV data into a database.
I think I can share a very recent experience we had. So we released a new new feature in our website to allow journalists mainly to search at the judge and whatever attorney salary. And we needed to do that. We had I don't know, tons of zip data packages, and you script download, unzip, whatever, and build this huge, I think it was not 6 gig, maybe 5 gig, something, the whole thing. And we only managed to solve that using the \copy command from Postgres. So we tried bulk insert, didn't work, whatever, didn't work. The \copy command, so you pretty much feed in the path to the CSV file. We had, and we actually generate the CSVs to map the tables we wanted in Postgres, exactly the schema we wanted. Boom, done. So that's how the only way we managed at that time.
Hey guys.
Yeah, that's. Sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say that's very similar to what what our solution is. There's a load data command in MySQL that I think does the same thing as copy in Postgres. So that's what I was curious about, if there's any interest or maybe even movement towards like a kind of standardized pipeline to do this, so that we're not duplicating efforts. It's like you feed it a remote URL, it downloads it, pushes it into SQL, reports the status, and yeah, it's the same thing. We had to parse the headers and like create a table that would have the exact schema. So it just seems like a common and useful workflow for large data sets.
Hey guys, I wanted to share some insights for you what I've seen in the data tool space. You're probably aware of DypeDB. Everybody's using it now. I just finished my recon on that database. I'll probably be using my tools for large CSV data import. So I had the tabular data viewer that's in private beta right now. It's going to be public in fall, where you will be able to load and sort, filter gigabytes of CSV data. That extension already had data package support. So I think you adding a better catalog API is a good thing, because it would make it easier and more polished to integrate kind of loading larger data sets or public data packages, right? But just an FYI on that.
Thanks, Taras. And if you want to share any links, please feel free to do so. We are at the top of the hour right now, so I want to be mindful of everyone's time. Just before I leave you, everyone, to the rest of your day, I just wanted to do a couple of announcements. First of all, please don't miss the next community call, which is going to be on the 29th of September. We're going to have Evgeny here, Evgeny Karev, who's going to present the Frictionless Framework version 5. So that's the other announcement, which is there has been a beta release. You will find the link to the documentation in the agenda doc, but I will paste it here as well in the chat. So you can go and have a look. And then Evgeny is going to present it properly in the next community call, and we're going to have a discussion around that. The other thing that I wanted to ask you, but maybe I'll put the form also in the community chat, there has been some asks. Oh, Augusto, do you want to ask a question?
Yeah, just want to add that we have already started this mapping of DCAT and Frictionless. I'm not sure if it was discussed here because I'm in another meeting at the same time, so I lost some of what to discuss here. But I put the link in the chat to the issue, and that issue has a link to the partial mapping we have already started from DCAT to Frictionless.
Thanks, Augusto. Yes, so the other thing that I wanted to maybe announce to you all is that maybe we will try to have like community calls at different times. So I know, for example, Augusto, that for you this time is not perfect. And I know that some people that, for example, are in the west coast of the US find it difficult sometimes to join. So we might have calls in the coming months at different times, and also to accommodate maybe people in Asia, we can have them at an earlier time. So just to announce this, but you will see everything anyhow in the Slack channel, and it's going to be announced on Twitter as well. If you don't follow us on Twitter, and if you're not in the community chat, I invite you to do so. You will find the links in the doc. We are now 2 minutes over time, so I'll let you all go free to the rest of your day. I want to thank you all. Thanks, Sassi, very much for this very, very nice and interesting presentation. Thanks all for coming today. We can stay another couple of minutes if other people have questions. Otherwise, you're free to go.
Yeah, just
yeah, I was on a question to Saran, actually.
I don't know, Daniel, Evgeny, who wants to go first?
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, just wanted to add that this GitHub integration is implemented as a part of version 5 of framework. So I will be announcing it like next month. But if you want to try the GitHub integration, you need to install Frictionless using modifier with pip. It's in the documentation, and also we will share the same information on Slack. Daniel?
Yeah, sorry, Daniel. Thanks, Evgeny. Do you want to go ahead with your question?
Yeah. So, well, the question is still related on how we can go forward and suggest spec changes. I used to be repos, right? To which through GitHub via GitHub issues to suggest spec changes. So it's completely off topic. It's just if there is a new way, or it's just through issues to the, I think the repo is frictionless data, or there is a repo about the spec and it used to be through issues that we suggest changes or reviews or whatever. And it's a follow-up on this catalog thing. I'm keen on how I go ahead and start the conversation instead of wait or put burden on you guys. So I just go ahead and open an issue. How do you suggest to move forward on that? About this catalog, changing the spec.
I think I'll let maybe Evgeny answer this question because he's been dealing with the specs lately.
Yes, so currently it can be changed. It's the specs repo on the Frictionless organization. It might be maybe slow to get responses like later, but we're going to kind of like improve this going forward. And yeah, it's currently the main standards entry point. And I'm unsure whether we already have this catalog issue or not. Maybe.
I can take a look, no problem. Just to make sure that it's still through the PRs on that repo, or is there another way? Because it's been a long time since I joined the conversation about the spec itself or whatever. So just making sure that it's still through the PR.
Yeah, it's still here, the same repo.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Yes, I was also shared in the chat the link, Daniel, in case you want a direct one. Okay, we're 6 minutes over time, so I propose that everybody goes back to the day. Again, thanks all everyone. It was lovely to see you today. I'll see you again next month. Don't miss the framework version 5 presentation. And meanwhile, we can chat via Matrix or in the Slack channel. Bye all, thanks.
Thanks everyone.
Bye.